Memorial Day, bro.
What's happened here? My Zoom just opened. All right, we're off and running here. Bring it on in. Beef at night. The man known as Beef, Ryan Beef Coyle. I'm Sean Brace. Here we are, catching up. First question out the shoot, Beef. Before we dive into, of course, the tailgate that's fast approaching, the month of June that's already here. How the hell is it already Memorial Day weekend?
I don't know. It definitely snuck up on me. I was talking with the guys about it, and we are just like, "Oh no, that's next weekend, right?" And no, it's
Yeah.
here. It's definitely a week early on the calendar compared to most years. But hear the boys down there watching Knicks Pacers. But yeah, Memorial Day is here, fast and furious, and before you know it, will be training camp and fall camp and everything in between.
I didn't know you lived at a Knicks house.
Yeah, Big Ben Kurt, Knicks diehard.
Shot is Sam Ostry coming through? Is he going to be hanging
Nah,
out?
Sean Bernard's down there though. That's for sure.
The most anti-Nick person out there, but that's all right. It holds steady to that brand. I appreciate it. No, it really is. It's crazy, and obviously when we get to summertime, we start talking about college football. It's right around the corner, man. It really is.
Yeah, no doubt about it. August 23rd, we got. You're seeing more and more these days. The win totals coming out. I feel like every day as well, you're hearing more about our girl Jordan, as the guys over at Part of My Take call her with Bill Belichick potentially engaged now. But no shortage of storylines for sure. More and more, I'm hearing though. Your boy Arch, actually, it sounds like he might be a guy that is staying at Texas for another 2 years. More and more, that's kind of the news about that. They're basically saying financially he's fine. Reps, he only has 90 pass attempts so far at the college level. Obviously, he's going to have a whole year this year. He could go out there, light the world on fire, Heisman Trophy, national title, and that could be it. But the Manning camp, apparently, the rumors from them want to see him be there for 2 years, get fully developed before going and rushing to the next level. So that's going to be something to watch. Ton of good quarterbacks this year. I think we're going to have a lot of fun quarterback play, but very open this year. We're not walking in with a big time favorite. You can make a compelling case, I think, for 6 or 7 teams potentially to win it all. And Penn State's been a team I've seen ranked at preseason number one, and not one, but many graphics so far over these past few weeks. So exciting stuff to dive into.
Yeah, I guess there's nobody that should doubt what Penn State has been able to show us as of late. Like they are a good football team, and they're going to continue to be a good program. And especially when they have the carryover, whether you think Drew Aller is a national championship type of quarterback or not, he is a good quarterback and will win football games.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see why this team is ranked preseason number one. I understand it, but you know. Yeah, I got it. What does a preseason ranking mean? Like absolutely nothing after it's all said and done. There is positives, right? We understand long season, you're already up there being discussed and so on and so forth. But at the end of the season, that's all that matters, and whether or not they got a one next to their name or not.
Yeah, and I still think it is, testament, I guess, at least to what Franklin has built. People can say what they want. They were, a bad drive away from potentially going to the national championship last year. That was a great game they had against Notre Dame. But for them to even be, kind of in that discussion to be the preseason number one team in the country, I think that says a lot. But there's still, as you said, they got to go out there and prove it. Sure, preseason expectations, preseason hype is all fine and dandy, but to be able to go out there and prove it throughout the season. I think they have Oregon at home and at Ohio State this year are the two, big boy games on that schedule. Can they go to Ohio State and get over that mountain? Can they beat Oregon at home? It's all going to be decided out in the field, but this is the class that Franklin was building for this. And he, I think, expected it more so to be last year. All those guys to be done by their junior year, as we saw Abdul Carter goes, but the quarterback stays, both running backs stay, and they go out and bring in finally some pass catchers in the transfer portal. No reason that they shouldn't be, competing for that national title this year. I think anything outside of a Final Four berth will probably be a disappointing thing. But we have so much time to dive into this over the next few weeks, few months. But it's good to start. Finally, the portal is pretty calm now. Everything's starting to die down, both in college football and college basketball. you can finally kind of view it from a lens of both sides of, we have more of a concrete vision, and we'll be, like you said, Memorial Day, we'll be on the beach in a few weeks, probably reading a college football magazine before you know it.
Damn right. Yeah, Penn State currently plus 750 to win it all on DraftKings Sportsbook. 5 teams all under 10-1. Oregon at plus 850, Penn State plus 750, Georgia plus 650, Texas 550, and the Buckeyes running it back at 5-1 there. Notre Dame 12-1, Clemson 16-1, LSU 20-1, and Michigan 25-1. Michigan. Is it because what do they got? Is that kid playing? Was it Underwood?
Yeah, Underwood. He's going to be the starter, but that's a
Wow.
situation too where it's like, how much really are you counting on him, banking on him from day one to go out there and be the guy? The rest of the roster is good, and we saw last year they were, competent quarterback play away from being in a lot more games. But the one team that I've heard a lot about, and it's a team that I think I've talked a lot of crap on over the past couple of years, and thought that program was on the way down, and this is also a program that had a bit of a bounce back last year. They find their way to the college football playoff, and that's Clemson. And there's a lot of hype surrounding this Clemson team and the NFL talent. I was looking at some 2026 mock drafts. They had like 3 or 4 Clemson guys in the top 10 to 15 picks. This is a loaded team, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And Cade Klubnik, credit to him. I was very low on him at the beginning of the year last year, and he played super well over the second half of the season, pretty much took this team to the college football playoff, and now he's in discussion as potential Heisman favorite, potential number 1 quarterback there off the board. I'll be interested to see if he's able to put that fully together for 2 consecutive years, but watch out for Clemson. As much as it pains me to say this is a team that looks like, kind of they're on the way back to get themselves back in that conversation as, an Ohio State and Alabama, a Georgia, and belonging back in that group.
All right, and you didn't bring up UCLA at all. You go watch out for the Bruins too as well.
Yeah, I haven't heard much about your guys out there. What's the word? I don't even see them listed on this champion conference winner. Where do you think they are? I'll probably guess third to last in the Big Ten.
When I saw that list, as far as him being ranked with the other quarterbacks that were going to come out for the draft, and there was like two lists that didn't even have him in top 10. I'm like, I give up, man. We'll see. Like I'm not digging anymore, right? Like I've said what I said. I believe in what I believe. I'm on the record, but I'm not gonna dig that grave any deeper at this point in time. We'll see what happens out there with Nico and company. All right, you do a great show with Nick McClay. Great title for the program. Football is king. Yes, weekly, heard right here on The Gambler. Staying in that world, let's get on over to the NFL. Jim Irsay passed away just now, about a few hours ago. Of course, he's the Indianapolis Colts owner. I believe he is 55 years old. He passed away. My question 65. Is, did 65?
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't 55. Yeah, 65.
55, that's as old as you.
Close. Very close. Damn. My question is, did he vote on the tush push and then die?
That was what sent him to the grave.
I'm just wondering. Good grief, man.
Yeah, Jim has Jim I think had some issues with the bottle. There's a few guys in my life, but maybe even one of the guys in this one of these 2 frames that might have put down the bottle a little bit, or we might be headed down the Jim Irsay path as well.
He was definitely on other stuff too, no doubt about it. Yeah, he was an absolute maniac, but very fun owner. Not afraid to mix it up. And man, he hired Jeff Saturday off the ESPN set.
Yeah, that was insane. He's also been through a lot too. Freaking Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning's neck falling apart. But also, I think the biggest news out of this, Chris Ballard probably had the longest leash of any GM in recent NFL memory, outside of Howie Roseman and his up and downs. Chris Ballard, man, that guy is officially now on the hot seat. I know it's probably like a son or a nephew or someone taking over the operation there for Indy, but Chris Ballard is a guy that seemed like he was tied to Jim Irsay's hip. Full pressure's on for him now. I could see it's one of those things when an owner passes away, or ownership changes, you can get a complete cleaning of the house. GM, head coach, quarterbacks, everything in between. So RIP Jim Irsay for sure, but it becomes a much more important year for the Colts, I think. And you're rolling out Anthony Richardson or Daniel Jones for week 1. So good luck out there, boys.
Yeah. No, that's a didn't they draft a rookie too? They draft somebody in the draft.
They took Riley Leonard.
That's right. Yeah. Good luck. Yeah, a hope and a prayer. Riley Leonard could win a football game at the collegiate level. I don't know if that's going to work. I mean, hell, him and Daniel Jones are practically the same player, essentially.
And Anthony Richardson looks cool throwing the ball 80 yards.
Yeah, but he can't do it, consistently. That's for damn sure. All right, staying with the NFL, and of course, the big news of the day was the tush push rolls on. They decided to, or they didn't get enough votes to ban the tush push for the upcoming season. I kind of was like, man, just make it happen already. Like, I'm sick and tired of hearing about it, and you're not going to stop them even with just a QB sneak. So let's see what you want to do on that. They're still going to convert, but all in all, it doesn't matter. The tush push remains, and of course, I was saying this earlier, Beef. I was not for the pushing of the players forward. Like, I'm not a fan of that. So when that rule changed many years ago, it wasn't a big deal to me at all, but I didn't like it. But I would never say remove the tush push because of how great it is, how effective it is for the Eagles. But if they're going to change that rule and go backwards, which would surprise me because I think it takes points off the board, I don't have an issue with it, man. I don't like pushing the players in from the 5-yard line, moving the player forward when it got to pick up that tough first down. We've seen running backs. I'm sure Genty's going to do it 100 times this year with the Raiders, where it's just he's carrying pile and this big lineman pushes it forward. So I don't really like that, but all in all, I'm glad that they didn't change it because it is a very effective play for the Eagles.
Yeah, and obviously, I think it's a play where if you're a Giants fan, if you're a Commanders, if you're a Cowboys fan, you're probably sick of seeing it. But sitting here, we're like, if you can't stop it, then that's your fault. That's your problem. Let's keep it rolling. I'm in agreement with you though, in terms of it's a situation where I still think they would be successful in terms of being able to convert those first downs, scoring those touchdowns, even if they didn't have this play in their arsenal by just running a pure quarterback sneak. But at the same time, it's like the Eagles have mastered this. Jason Kelce always says on his podcast, he calls his listeners the 92 percenters because he says they'll work 92% of the time. I think we'll be back in this situation next year. Like you said at the beginning, kind of rip the Band-Aid off. But I do like how Jeffrey Lurie put it. It's like, regardless of the outcome, we're going to walk away with this with the same Super Bowl ring on our finger that we would have before. It's not like it was steroids. It's not like it was, sign stealing, something like that. It's a situation where the Eagles just mastered something. The rest of the league couldn't adapt, and they tried to get rid of it. They did it, and the Eagles have it at their disposal for at least one more season. And the one thing I do find interesting about it, though, with the comments about like why people want to remove it with the player safety stuff, like they're saying there's no evidence of player safety issue. There's no evidence of more concussions or something. How many times, though, in football history have we seen like a player have Antonio Brown, for instance? Was he that messed up when he was playing? And look how off the rails he went right away. Look at some of these other guys who have had serious CTE. Like wasn't Junior Seau, didn't he kill himself? And then that was ruled due to CTE. Like I think we kind of are pushing that to the side a little bit too much, in my opinion, in terms of like, oh, there's no player safety injury evidence. Like, okay, let's wait 5-10 years from now and see how Jason Kelce or see how Lane Johnson's holding up. So if they do if you are making about player safety, I don't know if the verdict essentially is out yet. So that's something I would definitely say to keep in mind down the line. And I think a reason why within the next year or so, the play will probably be gone. But for this year, and as long as it lives, continue to push on and continue to use that beef up front.
Really an interesting article written by ESPN here, Jeremy Fowler, where he has a lot of what was said in the room. Of course, everybody is talking about what Jeffrey Lurie said, and when he compared it to a wet dream for a teenage boy with the league banning the play. And Troy Vincent, obviously former Eagle, but is a pretty big deal for the league, spoke up and had issues with the comment because specifically there were women in the room. So he does have somewhat of a point there, but at the end of the day, man, this is a whole different world. So come on, man, we got to be realistic with that. We're talking about A lot of juice was in that building. A lot of I mean,
A lot of
Jeffrey
money,
Lurie, a lot of money. You're
a
no
lot of
doubt about
zeros.
everything, right? Egos. You're banning a play from a Super Bowl champion. The team just won it all, and now you're effective, essentially trying to take away one of the best plays that made them who they are, and it's not happening on the field. It's happening in a back room at a hotel. At like, come on, dude. Like, allow them to play it out on the field. Anyways, some really good stuff here from the article. Jeffrey Lurie went back after that comment, after Troy Vincent, and then essentially went after Roger Goodell and Troy Vincent for advocating the ban, adding that Jeffrey Lurie had spoken to the NFL chief medical officer, Alan Sills, at length about the play. Eagles assistant general manager John Ferrari and former Eagles center Jason Kelce addressed the room. Kelce said that he would return to the NFL if he could run 60 tush pushes a game. Okay.
Yeah, I
don't
think he's trying
understand
to
that.
say. Yeah, I think he's trying to say there that running the tush push 60 times is safer than if he was doing 60 other different plays, whether
Gotcha.
it's pass sets or other run plays where he's going helmet to helmet every snap. Because I think even like on the tush push, necessarily like a lot of times he's going low. More times if you're run blocking a guy as the center straight on, you're helmet to helmet every time. So I think he was basically saying like those 60 tush pushes are less wear and tear on the body and potentially the head than his, every other play that he runs on a given Sunday.
Yeah, look, Eagles left the room not knowing what to expect and figured the vote could go either way. And, this was, like I said, a lot of great details in here, but we know how it all played out. And definitely would recommend you to read that article. And again, the tush push will remain for the next season. Will it be there following? Will we continue to have to hear about this play? I highly doubt it. I really do. I think that eventually this play is going to get stopped, just like everything else in all of sports.
Kind of like I think it was like the shift in baseball.
Yeah.
Something like that. Like there's still like players still shift, but not to the degree of what we saw with like Ryan Howard back in the day. It's the same thing with this. Like they're gonna ban the tush push, but I'm sure the Eagles will come up with some moderation of some other play, whatever it is, the quarterback sneak. But what's next? Are you gonna ban the quarterback sneak? Like, okay, we gotta turn around and hand it to Jordan Davis every time we're on the goal line or something.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. But hey, all in all, it's a talking point in the offseason. Now we keep it moving, and all eyes are on Dallas, baby, coming up here very, very soon. Staying in the NFL, it happened last week, and it caught my attention. I don't know if it's something that I would have done differently, but at the end of the day, it still is a big-time deal for Brock Purdy. The 49ers and Purdy reached a 5-year deal, $265 million contract extension. They could have went elsewhere. It's a pretty good coach. He could have went out and got somebody, whether it's a draft pick that he believed in, like Sean Payton up there with Bo Nix in Denver, whether it works out in New Orleans. Like, we can go down the list. They didn't have to give Brock Purdy a contract, correct? Or did they?
Hands were tied a little bit, I think. But at the same time, it's like he's also was currently playing as the cheapest quarterback in the entire NFL. As we know, he was the last pick. Now he's up in that conversation of highest paid guys. It's still funny to see when you look up on overthecap.com, the highest paid quarterback in the league is Mr. Dakota Prescott down there in Dallas. I think that's still kind of funny to see. But it's also like Jalen Hurts is now like 12th, 13th highest paid. Brock Purdy, you're tied to him now though. Like, the thing is with him, like, I mean, good work by Brock Purdy, good work by the agent. But if they got more of like the Sam Darnold deal, where I think it was $100 million over 3 years and it was like 55 guaranteed, and it's okay, you're still young enough where you get your next contract at 29 or 30 years old. That probably would have been more ideal. But kudos to Brock Purdy, his agent, for being able to get that done. Let's see what he's made of. This is a team that, all right, Debo's no longer there. Brandon Ayuk certainly took a step back. George Kittle still, I think, kind of at the top of his game. Christian McCaffrey certainly took a step back. Will he ever be the same guy again with these injuries? That offensive line, Trent Williams is getting older. He kind of had the perfect situation around him. He had a second half lead on Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl and they didn't come away with it. I think that was probably their biggest chance, their golden opportunity. Another team that really pays some of their top guys top dollar, and I think it kind of hurts the depth of the rest of the roster. You saw that over the course of last season. Like the Eagles pay their guys and they take care of their guys well, but they're still able to kind of maneuver the cap enough where they're able to pay these, second tier, third tier type of players on the roster to still be able to contribute. I think they're a much deeper team from top to bottom of the 49ers. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if you look at this time next year and we're talking about the 49ers as a 7-10, 6-11 team from this past season and questioning, did Brock Purdy really deserve all that money?
It's going down, man. We're talking NFL. Like I said, once I saw the calendar once we started talking about Memorial Day weekend, I was just like, wait a minute, dude, what is going on right now? And I immediately texted you and said, how many Saturdays till we kick off? But then we can get to how many Sundays or Thursdays until we get to the Cowboys and Eagles taking place on September 4th. That is a 7-point spread there. I wanted to see
you'll be in the building for that one.
Oh, you damn right I will be. That's going to be insane.
You see the ticket price for that one?
Oh, it's crazy. Tick Pick.
Yeah. Shout out Tick Pick.
Shout out Tick Pick. Shout out. Get your tickets at tickpick.com. Just to let you know, right now in the NFC West, 49ers currently plus 145, Rams 2-1, Seahawks plus 475, Cardinals plus 475. So long way to go.
Still favored.
Yep.
Interesting. I wonder what's the win total coming for them.
Let's see here. The NFC East, though, real quick, as far as the Eagles, they're minus 135, Commanders plus 205, Cowboys 6-1, Giants 25-1. Wins for the 49ers. San Francisco treat.
Looks like it's 9.5.
10.5 is at plus 110.
So you'd think 9.5 probably minus 140 or something like that.
Yeah, somewhere around
Interesting. There. I got a quick question for you. When going back to the NFC East real quick, are you a believer in that trend of no repeat division winners since 2002, 2003? Do you buy into that at all, or do you think that's a coincidence? Because if you do buy into that, there's money to be made there. And it was even 2 years ago when the Eagles had the collapse, it looked like they were going to break that streak because obviously the year before when they went to the Super Bowl, they won the NFC East. And I remember I had them in a division parlay, and at one point they were like minus 900. Dallas was like plus 650, and this was in about week 10 or so. And then obviously we know the Eagles collapse down the stretch. Dallas wins the division there, but I think there's some merit behind it. I don't think it can be coincidentally happening for 20 straight years now. But if so, there is some money to be made out there. The Commanders at plus, I think it's 275 or so.
No, 205. We just
plus 205.
Yeah.
And then and then Dallas, but Dallas is getting disrespected. I'm not buying into this Cowboys team this year, but that's something that I always have in kind of the back of my head. It's like, are the Eagles going to take a step back now after winning the division? Something to look for. It's a very tough stretch to start the season. 5 games, I think, against potential playoff teams. So they're going to have to get out of the gate hot, but I think still top to bottom on paper, best team in the NFL.
Yeah, no, it's just hard to bet against them and take the Commanders. I think the Commanders will be good, but I think
a step back is warranted for them too.
Yeah, but to sit here and say that they're going to be better than the Eagles, I just don't see it, especially with the production that they're getting from those young players. I don't see them falling off. Quinyon Mitchell, I read an article that he could be the best cornerback in the game.
Yeah, I mean, well, what he did last year was insane, and I know the outside and inside.
Could you just imagine if I know how good he was last year, but could you imagine if people talk about him as the number one cornerback in the game, and here he was just drafted? I know, how he wanted him, and he had him in his sights, and he was damn good, no doubt about it. But like for him to turn into the best cornerback at his position, just insane to even think that that's a possibility. But it really is. It's definitely a reality.
Yeah, even after also just 1 year and 1 year out of Toledo as well, to be able to plug and play right away. And, shout out to Fangio, because he said it from the beginning. He's like, they got Slay, they got Isaiah Rodgers. Those guys will probably start on the outside, ease Quinyon in, maybe play him in the nickel. And Fangio was like, no, this dude's going to be on the field, whether it's inside, whether it's outside. He's going to be playing, 100% of the snaps for us for day one. And he did just that and more. I forget what playoff game it was. I think it was the Packers, the one playoff game he left early, obviously he was able to come back, but he was bulletproof out there last year as well. He was very durable, and Coop as well. Like Cooper DeJean, and obviously he got the slow start due to the hamstring injury, but he was out there almost every single play as well. Both those guys as rookies only going to continue to get better. I mean, you say Quinyon can be the best outside corner in the league or best overall corner. I think Cooper is already, if not the best nickel in the league. And you got those guys under contract at least for 3 more years together. And obviously, hopefully a long time more. But to have the number 1 corner potentially in the league, Pro Football Focus wouldn't agree with you. Did you see that list that they put out? The top 10 players in the NFL under 25. Jalen Carter and Quinyon Mitchell did not make the list.
There's probably some bias in there.
There was, I think, 3 Detroit Lions on that list. I think it was Penei Sewell. Penei Sewell's number 1. I think Gibbs was on there, and I believe Brian Branch was on there as well.
Branch, I would not put him in front of Jalen Carter.
Yeah.
But Gibbs was electric.
Gibbs is awesome.
Gibbs is incredible. Look at what he did his last 5 games of last year, like 147, 2 touchdowns. It felt like he was averaging. Oh my goodness.
He's my favorite. He's my favorite non-Eagle in the NFL.
Wait till you see the missed dunk by Toppin. Unbelievable. As you're in the Knicks house, it's like Garden on Hector.
Yep.
The Hector Street Garden. Yeah, oh yeah. They're absolutely going haywire right now. And they're doing it up there in New York as well. All right. We'll end on this note. Once again, Beef Up Front, the tailgate coming your way. June the 14th, Beef. Saturday at the Yard.
Booked the bus yesterday.
Did you book the bus?
11 a.m. pickup on Hector.
Woo-wee. All aboard. I got I ordered some props for the tailgate. You ready?
Oh God, here we go.
Got some.
Oh yeah, Yacht Rock, baby.
Yacht Rock caps for the tailgate.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Shirts are ordered too. Shout out North Penn Custom Tees.
Yeah, dog. Let's go. So stupid. Yeah, the captain is in. I got the horn. We're gonna have to act up. It's gonna be a fun time down there, and of course, Citizens Bank Park. We'll be there for a good game against the Blue Jays. Going down. Come one, come all. Right?
Yes, sir. Looking forward to it. Hopefully, not the hottest day of the year. Weather. The monthly weather forecast should be out soon. Hopefully, to project it.
What's the attendance looking like? What's the breakdown? How many people are showing up here?
I mean, we haven't had under 100. We haven't had under 100 yet. I don't think this year will be any different. 50 shirts were ordered, so at least 50 people will be in the house. And, you know, having a 21-year-old sister, you know, they bring quite a crowd as well. So expect a bunch of stragglers. We should get 100 plus. Just need the DJ to ball out for the kids.
I love those stragglers, man. I love those stragglers. All right, good episode here. We had to get one on the books because we didn't do one 2 weeks ago because we ended up going to the bar. Of course, we got Memorial Day weekend here, so I wanted to get one before. What is your plans this weekend? What do you got going on Memorial Day weekend? You're a big beach guy.
Friday down at Avalon.
Nice. You got a house?
We can afford it right now, but
oh no, definitely
not. Big Sean does.
Oh wow, dude, absolutely rocking out. I like it. Well, enjoy that, man. We'll be we're gonna stay calm, stay local. One more weekend, I'm under wraps, and then I'm ready to just, come just unleash me. I'm kidding. June 14th.
I'll be down at the bank on May 30th. Come to have your going out party May 30th down at the bank. Good calls that night.
Well, I'm looking forward to Beef Up Front, the tailgate. Once again, make sure you're following Beef on all things socials. Ryan Coyle 35. We'll be back next Wednesday night, live and loud here inside the studio. I would imagine we might have when did the NBA finals start? June.
Nah, not for a couple more weeks.
June 5th. Yeah, we got a little ways. So yeah. But we will be talking about whether or not the Knicks will be going to an NBA Finals or the Pacers. Of course, on the flip side in the West, we'll continue to start looking at football a little bit more in depth. Phillies are kicking ass and taking names, so a lot to discuss there. But as always, if you missed anything, at FoxPHLGambler.com, we'll talk to you.